Good morning, Bhargav. It's Friday, the 10th of February. Here's the heads up brief for today. For the Southeast Asia production, we covered 17 issues. For the North Asia production, we covered 5 issues. And for the Australasia and Pacific Islands, we covered 8. In South Asia, we covered 14 issues, plus the major issues in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa regions.
So, which are the major issues out of these? There seem to be a lot of issues you covered today.
Right. So in Indonesia, civil society groups will protest in Jakarta on the 28th of February against the government's perceived increasing authoritarian tendencies. So this is over a range of issues.
Thank you.
In Papua, and this is regarding the recent kidnapping incident of the New Zealand citizen, the West Papua National Liberation Army released a statement. They called out New Zealand and other Western countries that helped train or equip the Indonesian military. Regarding the kidnapping, so this hasn't been the first kidnapping. Of course, there was the 1996 Mampintuma hostage crisis when the Free Papua movement kidnapped 26 Indonesians and foreigners. They let the 15 Indonesians go. They held on to the foreigners for 5 months in and around. They were kidnapped in the same area in Duga. 2 of the hostages were killed. In March 2021, the West Papua National Liberation Army briefly detained a pilot also from New Zealand in Puncak district, but let him go. A similar incident also happened 2 months prior in January 2021 in Intan Jaya, where a local pastor intervened and convinced the TPNBP to let the foreign pilot go. There's also been other instances of kidnappings over the years, but this is to say the threat of kidnappings in Papua by the armed separatists and the TPNBP is not new. It is a method used to draw attention to the conflict, and foreigners can be seen as, more leverage.
So, Uday, kidnapping continues to be a major concern in the region, and as you have outlined, we have done quite a bit of work on that for our clients. From a company standpoint, as well as corporate responsibility, there's a duty of care and vicarious liability angle as well. So, what do you think the company should focus on?
Well, uh, I think the focus should you should not get blinded by the profits that can be made in Papua because it's a very real the security environment and the threats in it are very real, and it's a very unique kind of environment also. And foreign companies operating in Papua are still held to the laws of their own countries, in which they will be open to vicarious liability or violating duty of care, as you mentioned, Hargov.
Okay. Thank you there. If we can move on
Yep,
to the next section.
sure. In Myanmar, there's increased security in Yangon and across the country for the Union Day celebrations on the 12th of February. It's likely that the PDFs and EAOs may conduct some attacks while most of the public will engage in silent strikes.
All right.
The Philippines and Japan are considering a security pact with the US.
Okay.
And in the Philippines, this was an interesting incident. So the Moro Islamic Liberation Front held 39 Filipino soldiers hostage in Lanao del Sur in Mindanao for over a day. They were released unharmed after leaders negotiated. But this is worrying because the Moro Islamic Liberation Front is supposed to decommission as part of the peace process, but the decommissioning has been going slow. And tensions have been increasing in Mindanao. And last November, there was actually a clash between the Moro Islamic Liberation Front and the armed forces of the Philippines. So this is a concerning development in terms of in terms of the big picture outlook for Mindanao.
That's interesting, and indeed it's very concerning. Thank you.
Right. In later news, Singapore will ease COVID restrictions from the coming Monday.
All right.
Right. Moving over to South Asia, Bhargav. So, In Pakistan, authorities foiled a Tehrik-i-Taliban terror plot in Rawalpindi. They arrested two terrorists over there, and they had explosives, ammunition, and they were seeking to attack Christian sites, government sites, and police targets in Rawalpindi and Islamabad. And the Pakistani Interior Ministry has said that they cannot afford to send soldiers for security for the National Assembly elections because they're too busy in counterinsurgency and counterterrorism.
That's a major concern there. As expected, TTP is widening their area of operations and their targets. So we'll have to keep a close eye on them.
Yeah, definitely. Moving over to India, there's heightened security at the Telangana and Chhattisgarh border in India. This is after a Maoist clash happened and the Maoists fled over to, I think, the Telangana side. So there's security operations in the area. This comes as the BJP has said that they want to eradicate left-wing extremism in India by 2024, but that's very unlikely.
Yes, they have been trying to do that for decades now, and the BJP government's success in doing that is very much questionable. Both the center left and center right parties, including the Congress and the BJP, have been after the Naxals for so many decades that nothing seems to be working at the ground level. Uh, so we'll have to see how this evolves. The Telangana Chhattisgarh border, or any border with Chhattisgarh for that matter, is a major concern. So we'll have to see how much worse this will get.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Chhattisgarh has elections at the end of the year, so this is also a political kind of thing.
Yes, and they have been known to target election booths and election officials specifically.
Yep. Also in India. So Bhargav, yesterday we talked about the Sikh issues, which led to the clashes in Chandigarh. So security forces have increased security at the Mohali-Chandigarh border to prevent people from going over and going to Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Man's house.
All right. Okay.
Right. Lastly, for the Europe, Middle East, and Africa regions, the cost of living crisis basically is continuing in Europe. There's unions in France have said that they will strike in March over the pension reform. And in Germany, there are strikes ongoing in the North Rhine-Westphalia region. And these don't seem like they'll end anytime soon.
All right.
That's it for today, Bhargav. Anything from you?
Nothing from me there. Thank you for the brief.
Thanks.